Okay, I wanted to redo the reading on Jesus because I went back and listened to it, and there was a lot of times that I was processing, and I'm just impatient with myself. So when I was listening to it, I was like, damn, it's taking me a while to get my point across. I can't stand that. That's why I barely listen to my audios, but this one really intrigued me because it was, for one, soon as I tapped into the energy, I was kind of overwhelmed. It was a lot of energy. Cars was flying as well. So there was a lot that needed to be said. And I don't feel like I was able to and also my voice was super low. Around this time of year, my allergies get really bad. So like I've been sneezing, I'm stuffy and everything. I don't really like to take allergy medicine, but I'm feeling better now. So I'm going to go ahead and work through it. The worst part is that damn post nasal drip. That right there. That right there really irks me. Okay, so I'm going to quickly summarize what I already processed in the first reading. I was also seeing a lot of visuals that some of them I didn't get time to. I was rushing as well because I had to go to work. So, which reminds me. Okay, so make sure my phone is off. All right. So some of the things that I processed, I was feeling like Jesus was like a air sign. I was getting strong Aquarius and strong Gemini feelings from it. Um, he changed a lot during the course of his lifetime and he had really intense experiences since like a young child. Whatever it was, I definitely feel like he was prepared for whatever his purpose was on this planet. I feel like he was prepared in more than one ways. When he was younger, I think that he had like a pretty normal childhood for that time, but he was sent off. I do see him with people that kind of look kind of like monks or something like that, but they have a different energy. And when I say that, it's just that it feels like their belief systems were slightly different than you would usually pick up on a monk. But besides that, on his journey, he I feel like he was a deep thinker. Also, he had a lot of love and compassion within him. He always had that in him, but there was a time in his life it was kind of suppressed because he was okay, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm thinking about it because I'm filtering my words, you know. I know that this is a sensitive subject for some people. So I'm really trying to not just be respectful, but being as truthful as I can be when it comes to my visuals and my intuitive gifts. So, however you perceive this, this is my perception of what I'm seeing. So, I don't want anybody to feel any type of way. Just think of this as my opinion. Okay? All right. So there was a time that he wasn't such a good person. It's human. That's all I can really say. It's just that when he did awaken, those very human experiences was like, um, it's like the oh my goodness. I feel like he always had this like effect on people. People, it was hard to figure him out. It really was. Because at times it would seem like he was contradicting himself. It wasn't that. It was just that he understood so much. Like he had an awareness of past lives and stuff like that. The universe grant him that because they knew that he had a very huge purpose. So, but before he came to that awakening, he was just like everybody else. He loved before, he lost, he um struggled with substances. And I don't know about y'all, but when I read on these people from back in that era, people was some real deal, like drugs was always a big part of human nature. I mean, I swear, drugs, I feel like it may have been even more of a problem then. It wasn't regulated then. Um, People, I'm just feeling like very um, long work days and stuff. So they had certain drugs to stimulate them. They had certain drugs to make them feel euphoria. They had drugs though. They different than now, but it's really same thing, honestly. I feel like he had experiences with drugs before. Now, at the part that I see him convulsing, I said that at one point. Let me go in order. I seen him once as a child. Jesus to me, he's light skinned, but he's a black male. But I wish I had a picture of this dude. I met this dude years ago. We only went on one date, but it was something. I'm not trying to make no comparisons. It's just that what I see in the visual, it reminds me of that guy. They look different, but they have the same skin complexion. And this dude that I know too, he had like pretty, really pretty eyes. Um, Jesus' eyes looked bit brown. He had curly hair, but it was like soft. I want to say like 4B or something, or 4A maybe. It was curly, but it was soft. His skin, he looked like a light-skinned male. So I seen him when he was younger, and I seen him with a female, and I feel like this female was very like important to him. It was just when they met, it was an instant connection. They was tied at the hip, but for some reason she was taken away. I feel like I feel like, but visually, I see somebody taking her, like pulling her, and it's kind of like cloudy after that. So that really, sorry, I got interrupted. So this girl, yeah, she got taken away from him, and I feel like that really hurt him. It caused a change in him. Um, I feel like it also caused him to even want to leave from where he was. Like maybe he was even looking for her, but it did cause him to go on a spiritual journey. Now, this was triggered young. I'm saying like it's almost looking like somebody in their preteens or something, maybe even younger than that. He looking like he could have been like 8 or 9 years old or something. Um, and then after that, it was he was traveling. After that, he was traveling. He couldn't really stand still or stay in one place for too long. He had like a restless spirit when he was younger. It made him move because he was searching for answers outside of himself. But I do feel like there were people who was watching him. And you know what's interesting? I think there even may have been like powerful mediums, psychics, or whatever who have been watching him remotely. I'm seeing like people who are at a distance and they like get readings on him just to see where he at in his journey. So while he was on his journey, he experienced a lot of things. Like I'm seeing like he even used to party a lot at one time. He may have even been sexually fluent because a part of him, he was really okay. So when he was younger, he was really connected to his masculine energy, but at some point, he started to um, get really in tune with his femininity. And he had a lot of experience. I just see that he was well traveled, cultured, and stuff like that. I see him hanging out with different type of crowds. He did fall in love again. So the reason why I mentioned that it was a woman that came in and like awakened him because she was represented as the Queen of Cups. I asked what caused his awakening, like what triggered it, and she came up. I don't feel like this is the same female from his childhood. I feel like this is a different woman, and I felt like she was very spiritual. She was very spiritual, not just that, but she nurtured him a lot. I kind of feel like it feels motherly, so maybe this could be his mom as well, but um, there was a really strong feminine relationship that he had that caused him to change. I'm feeling like he may have had a substance problem, um, and he had to go to this woman to get some healing. And this woman, she did. She healed him, and she just didn't heal his like his addiction and stuff, but she healed his heart because he was kind of hardened by certain experiences that he had and the fact that he just had a strong disagreement about like how society was. So after he met her, he went on another journey, and that's when I'm starting to see him with like these monk-like people. I'm looking like I'm seeing mountains. Um, he did. He learned like meditation and stuff from these people. Um, he learned discipline 'cause these people worked him in a way like I could see him like sweeping, cleaning, stuff like that. But it was like all a part of the process. So there's another masculine person that they got readings and stuff on Jesus to keep up with him to see what he was doing, cause they knew something about him was ordained. He had a very specific purpose. He didn't know about it. He didn't know that he was going to die young until later, too closer to him about to die. Um, to be honest, earlier when I was reading, I was kind of feeling like he didn't die on the cross, but now I'm feeling like he did. What I was seeing is another woman, but this was after she was amongst his disciples. I think it could even be Mary Magdalene. I believe that's her name. Sorry if I got that wrong, but she's pretty important when you read the Bible and stuff. She was close to him. I'm gonna ask about their relationship because I felt like at one point he wanted to leave with her. He could have turned his back on this mission if he wanted to, but someone that masculine energy that I'm feeling that what was watching him explained it to him. Like if you do this, it would have a huge impact on humanity, and it would, if you sacrifice your life, you will be remembered. You will be remembered. But it was bigger than that. But they explained it to him in a way that he understood. He knew what he was getting into, but I felt like when he met her, he kind of wanted to abandon the mission, but he didn't. But it was all right. Let me try to explain this. He loved her, and I felt like at one point she may have even begged him, like, please don't follow this, because she wanted him to stay and build with her. And his heart desired that, but he wanted her to understand that he always was going to be with her. He explained to her like spirit, universe, the source. He explained these things to her. So it gave her a little bit of comfort, but they both wanted to build a life together at one point. He knew he had something to complete and that his life was going to be short. So I had got that visual with them interacting after the crucifixion. So I was thinking that maybe he didn't die on the cross, but right now I'm feeling strongly that he did. He did die. Um, I'm still talking on my visuals, but I will pull some cards in a little bit. So the energy that he gave to people, he, I compared it to like a celebrity. but it wasn't the same energy. It was the simple fact that he was so authentic and so true to himself, and it just blew people's minds. It was just blew people's minds the way that he was, because he didn't have no agenda. He wasn't trying to have control. People wanted to give him power so much. Like, people wanted to worship him because, and he didn't want that. It was overwhelming for him. At times he really wanted to retreat back into like a shell or something, because he didn't feel like he could handle all the attention at times. But his guide, he had a guide, and he communicated with his guide like clearly. Like, he did have supernatural abilities, and he learned it from techniques of controlling like his energy field, or what I'm hearing is like setting an attention for his energy and then directing it towards something. And that would cause him to, I feel like he could move things with his mind at times. Um, he was good at like stuff like Reiki and stuff like that. He knew how to heal people illnesses all by manipulating energy, but he learned that. Oh, mm. Because I'm seeing one of those monk looking people that was talking to him. They talk in a different language, but I could understand it in my mind. They was telling him that you can't abuse this type of power, or you won't have it no more. They explained to him like, if you abuse this, it will be taken away from you. So that's why he was like so humble, because he had and it was more intricate than that, how they described it to him. I'm seeing like, this is like some stuff, like real ancient texts and stuff that they had access to. But one of the main ways to access it, like, he couldn't abuse it. And he didn't want to, because he was explaining his purpose. And not just that, he was also, he remembered. He was activated by something that helped him to remember all his past lives, remember the spirit realm, remember source, remember, he was just able to remember everything. And because of that, he didn't fear nothing. He, just by mastering that, he knew how to master this 3D world. So he wanted to teach that to other people. The problem is, when he went on a journey somewhere. I'm seeing him in like some mountains or something with these people. Then he came back, and he wanted to teach them the ways, but he instantly realized that how lost these people was. And it bothered him that they was stuck. It's like their energy was stuck in a lot of things. It was, man, it was different. Of course, it was different back then, but I'm telling you, like, I wish I could explain it better how these people functioned during that time. It wasn't like today. It was real different. The way like the person mind worked, the way that they view society or the world and stuff. These people was very intuitive, but they was for one, they couldn't really see too far in the future. Like, I guess they would kind of explain it like idealism. These people wasn't like that. So, he knew that what he had learned, the state that humanity was in at the time, they couldn't grasp it. He knew that it was something that would have a bigger effect centuries ahead. He just had to plant that seed right then and there. So that's how he was moving. He was planting a seed. He also was aware how people constantly wanted to worship things, idolize, idolize things, and he tried to stop that from happening, but he just couldn't. He just couldn't. But he did try because he was trying to make people understand that you can access this. Like your spirit is just as powerful as mine. You can access this, but how it was then, it just, he knew that it wasn't going to really penetrate them. It would have been different today. So I also asked why they crucified him in my last reading. And the reason that I got is that um, political reasons. He was changing people. He was changing their mindset and he was making people believe in themselves, right? He was making people feel like they had like this power to them, making people see that they could connect to their own divinity and manifest things and create things for themselves. They don't have to live like this. It was scaring the people in power. So they wanted to silence him, shut him down. But even after that, they crucified him, people, it was still fresh in people's minds, like the miracles and stuff that he did. So it wasn't enough. That's why they had to um, do what they did. Let me explain what they did better. Give me a minute. Okay, my apology. I'm getting a clearer understanding now. And let me tell you how amazing this is. Because I did a reading a few hours ago. I shuffled to ask the same question I asked a few hours ago. I got all three of the exact same cards. Not just the exact same cards, but in the same position. Oh my goodness. So, what they actually wanted to do, they wanted to delete him out of history. What had happened is, his disciples, and not just that, but the woman that loved him, not just her, not just Mary, but other women. Like he connected with powerful women in their own right. Like they might not have been like high official in royalty or in the saying military or and had a high position, but they had other like intuitive gifts, other forms of power to them. All of these women, I'm seeing three. All three of these women were powerful souls in their own right. Um, they wanted to keep his legacy going. It just, as time goes, things get misinterpreted. Um, things get lost and stuff. So it's not necessary like it's not it wasn't um it wasn't the government who kept his legacy going or wrote. Okay, what I'm trying to explain is why did they depict him in the Bible the way that they did? When you are reading the Bible, you are reading people who are having an experience and they are interpreting it the best way that they can or what they know. But we have to understand that the Bible has been through a lot of hands and it has been translated. It has been, so some things are not translated well, some things are not, it was like some slight manipulation done from like King James and stuff like that. But as far as I felt like the women, they wanted to write him like as a hero because like that's how they feel, but it kind of left out the human aspect of it. And I feel like that's he would have had preferred the human aspect of it because that's was what he was trying to communicate with people. He did not want to be worshiped. He did not want to be worshiped. Not just that, but there was conflict about that too, just how things was interpreted. And I'm meaning like this is between those three women and the other like disciples. There was some conflict. But it's one woman that was in love with him. She wasn't about it. She wasn't about like she dedicated her life um to keeping that legacy, to writing it, to let it be known so he would not be forgotten. So I asked, how did Jesus feel about Mary? And I got the lover cards. Um, but I'm feeling like she was a temptation. She was a temptation for him. Um, he really tried to resist her because he knew his journey and he didn't want to hurt her. So he tried to resist her, but he loved her. Um, he had like Hold on. You know what's crazy is that he liked her more because of the stuff that people was saying about her. She created like a lot of talk. She got like a lot of attention. Um, People gossip about her and stuff, but he seen that as like y'all hoes are hating. You know, he felt like she was I'm seeing that she was kind of like a dominant woman. She was strategic. She was like very smart. I mean, that mind, that mind got him. She was so smart. It's just like he had like the best conversations with her. He appreciated her mind above everything else. He didn't care about nothing about what nobody said. I asked was they ever intimate and I got a yes. They was intimate before and not just that, but it caused some problems. Um and the problems it caused is because it's almost like what I'm seeing is like two people that's in love, but they wasn't trying to get married or nothing. They wasn't trying to settle down or nothing. They was just vibing. That wasn't heard of back then. That wasn't heard of back then. Um, their relationship was unconventional and it rubbed people the wrong way. It caused a conflict around that. So Mary felt like she just felt like he was just so fine. She thought that it wasn't just his looks. She was attracted to his, his energy, his aura, his way of being. Like he was, he had so much swag. It was ridiculous. So, and I'm feeling like people was so attracted to him. Um, she felt like he was abundant. Like, let me read this card. Keep a positive mindset, manifest exactly what you want, gratitude and bliss. That's like all representation of the energy I'm feeling from him. He knew he was a master at manifesting and he put her on game too. She just appreciated how much he taught her because she was never the same after she met him. Not just that, I don't feel like she ever was in a bad position again, even after the crucifixion. Where she had the knowledge that she gained from him, she took that and she created like a well life for her. So that's what I'm feeling. Okay. She she didn't trust like a lot of the people that was around him. She didn't trust them at all. She was pretty protective over him. He tried to like get her to understand like you don't have to be protective over me because like I felt like he knew that he was gonna die young, but he tried to prepare her for that, but he didn't just like tell her. He felt like if he did, she would try to stop it. She would try to stop it. So, hmm. I also got kisses, unconditionally loving, giving and receiving affection, falling in love. I also got the chaser in a codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issues. She was extremely attached to him, like extremely attached to him, but um I felt like they got along really good though. Codependent is saying it they didn't have like a codependent relationship, toxic codependent relationship, but they was really close. I think like once they met, they was always together. Okay, I also had got the snake. Competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. There was definitely competition for his love and affection, but hmm, with that card, the snake, I got more so that she felt like there was snake in the people that he was around. That's what I get that the most because I felt like people may have even been jealous because she was able to get close to him. So I felt like she had to deal with that, but she did well because she wasn't Mary was she was that girl. Let's just put it out there. She was that girl. Her mind, her spirit, or whatever, she was a fighter. She probably was one of the first feminists, let's be real, because I just don't feel like she wanted to conform. She didn't want to have the life like other women. She wanted more. She wanted more. And he respected that. He loved that about her. Ooh, child. So I asked like who was she as a person? And to be honest, I felt like when she came to Jesus as at first, she was kind of a toxic person. She there was a male figure in her life that just caused her a lot of pain. It could have been like a previous relationship that she was with this reversal King of Pentacles energy. Um, and this is the second time I'm showing the Queen of Swords reverse that representing her. So I felt like she was guarded at one point, or even afraid to speak her mind. Like she was really guarded. And when she met Jesus, it was like he made her feel safe to open up and to just be herself. Like before that, she felt kind of like restricted. I'm getting air energy for her too. Um, Aquarius definitely because I pulled a star card and the Queen of Swords. So yeah, when she met him, she was kind of at her rock bottom as well. But I also pulled the Ten of Pentacles. With that card, honestly, I feel like she wanted everything with him. She wanted to have kids with him. She wanted to marry him. She wanted to have everything with him. Yeah, she fell and she fell hard. She was a very emotional person. I just felt like she expressed herself kind of strongly, kind of intensely, emotionally. Um, Especially when she was younger. Like, I'm feeling like when she was younger, people might have had thought that something was wrong with her. They might have thought that she was like kind of cray cray, but it wasn't that. I felt like she was highly sensitive. Um, she was an empath. She was extremely intuitive. I even felt like she had got premonitions, premonitions, and um, she may was even able to do divination with water, like water glazing, gazing or something. I do feel like at times, like her emotions overwhelmed her. Like she dealt a lot with depression, mostly because she felt like she couldn't be herself. She has such a desire to escape, like whatever, wherever she was born at. She had a strong desire to escape. She had a strong desire for freedom as well. I get that with this card that say relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. She felt like she had a higher purpose, a higher calling. She felt pulled in a lot of ways. She felt pulled towards Jesus. Like, I think I'm gonna back off using those terms like twin flames and stuff like that and soulmates because I don't want to cause confusion. But they did have a deeply spiritual connection, and I do feel like there was a magnetic pull towards each other when it came to them. She was also like a what do you feel type person. She wasn't the type of person like, I think uh like analytical people. They'd be like, well, I think. She'd be like, well, I feel. She was definitely a filler. Um, I'm also getting like Scorpio energy as well. She wasn't afraid to dive deep. She also liked to daydream a lot. I also feel like she was introverted. I'm looking at this one card. It's this woman. She's at a pond and like she's staring into her reflection and it say seeing the true you. And this is card 29 that reduces to 11. So it was like she was always tearing herself down in a way to find out who she truly was. I felt like she did things at times um just to not like feel numb. Cause she dealt with a lot of like emotional issues. I felt like even at a time she may have felt like she was crazy or whatever because she felt really different. And sometimes she didn't feel like she had control of her emotions. Okay. So I'm asking about Judas, and the first question I asked is why did Judas, what was his purpose in Jesus' life? I do feel like there's so much water here, so I'm feeling like Judas could have been a water sign, maybe even a Cancer. But originally his intentions wasn't bad. He seen Jesus' vision, like what Jesus had planned for like humanity and stuff like, or not plans, but his points of views, and he vibed with it. I think that what happened with it looking like from these cars is that at one point he started to feel resentment towards Jesus, and I think that it had to do with a lot with like the other like disciples or whatever. This was after they started to get like more attention. So then when it was getting more attention, it was kind of like some arguments about who get credit for what, um, who get to be Jesus' best friend, or who get, it was a lot of ego tripping at one point. But he believed that Jesus could create a better life for him. To be honest, what I'm feeling like, it wasn't really spiritual for him. It was more like he was trying to just get ahead. Um, when I feel his energy, it feeling business like to me. Like he was like finding ways that Jesus could get like more recognition or get more followers, or he has certain plans and stuff. But if you would have followed his plans, Jesus' purpose would have started to look more like a scheme. So that's why Jesus wasn't like messing with it, because Jesus was like, you seem like you care a lot about money. You seem like you care about a lot of things that I don't really care about. But nah, I don't feel like he knew. I don't feel like he knew that Judas was gonna betray him like that. I felt like it was a surprise, but once he found out, he was like, okay, well, he knew that this was gonna happen anyways, so he just didn't know how it was gonna happen. So, yeah. Yeah, so he was kind of in it for what he can gain, because I don't really want to call him like a leech. He was kind of piggybacking, and it was just, I'm looking for the right words. I just felt like at one point he was kind of like he didn't feel appreciated. He didn't feel like people respected him. He didn't feel like the right people was taking up for him and stuff like that. So he was just kind of like, you know what, then forget it. Then I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm gonna do whatever. So that's what it's looking and feeling like. Because even though his mindset was like more business and his intentions initially wasn't bad, I felt like he got his feelings hurt and it changed his connection with Jesus and stuff like that because he was like hurt. But there was at one point that he really thought highly of Jesus and he felt like he was going to get far in life. I'm saying it like this because this is his perspective. I don't really feel like I feel like he was a skeptic at times. You know, he didn't know if he could really believe in the miracles and stuff like that. He didn't know, but he was like, yo, I don't know if you doing magic tricks or whatever, but I know that you going places. So I'm trying to ride with you because you gonna go something, you gonna be something. So I'm gonna ride with you. That's what it's like. So I asked, why did Judas betray him? What I'm getting is that he started to feel like out the loop. Like, I believe like there was some plans or something, but it didn't go through. And he felt like people was kind of like acting different with him. So, hmm, there was something that shifted in the energy with him and his connection with not just Jesus, but the group, like the disciples. Are I feel like it was more than these disciples. There was other people around. I feel like there was always a lot of people around because people would just want to follow him. So he started to feel like he was out the loop. People was being secretive and stuff, not telling him what's going on. So it made him start to think negatively about things. He was becoming pessimistic. He lost hope. He felt jaded. He felt jaded. And he really wanted to kind of like prove a point or hmm, it's just that he didn't feel like he was gonna succeed anymore with Jesus. So he went to the other side because he was really like just trying to get ahead. He didn't feel like he could trust them no more. He didn't feel like they was rocking with him anymore. So he was like, you know what? Fine then. I'm just gonna go over here then. I'm just gonna go over here. I asked, how did he feel after he betrayed Jesus? I really felt like the outcome was kind of unexpected to him. Like, he thought he would gain something that he didn't. He did deal with, I don't really feel guilt that strongly, but I feel um just unhappy, unfulfilled with life. I'm getting the Nine of Cups reverse, which is like the wish fulfillment card. So it's like his wishes went unfulfilled. But I felt like either a spirit, maybe his God or something, came down and eased some of what he was feeling because it caused him to understand his purpose, his role in it. It may have even been one of those three women that came to him and was like, you did a bad thing, but it was divinely guided. Something like that. He may have even had to leave the area or move because he upset a few people. I mean, a lot of people actually. And I don't know, I have to like reread the story on Judas because for some reason I'm getting like there was some confusion. Like maybe he was tricked into betraying him, or he was told that something else was happening, but instead that happened. There's like some confusion here. So his emotions go back and forth about it, cause he like, damn, I wish I never did that, but I didn't know. I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I didn't know it was gonna happen like that, or something of that nature. And his life after that, he had some. It wasn't all bad. I think that he kind of disappeared. And people might have heard about him like through the grapevine or something. But I felt like he may have even relocated, got remarried, started life somewhere else. But it wasn't all bad. He struggled with the feeling of it, but it was like I'm not feeling guilt really strongly. I'm feeling more like confusion. I'm feeling more like wishing things was different. I'm having more of those feelings. All right, so finally I asked what would Jesus like for people to know about him? Okay. He wants people to know that I'm gonna read this card. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target and you will make your mark. I remember earlier I was talking about how he was able to not manipulate energy, but to set intentions to it. The name of this card is Focus Intentions. Set intentions to his energy and then direct it at something. And because he learned that skill, he was able to manifest things and heal people. But he wanted people to know that this was something, because this came in a reversal, so this was something that he had to learn. Um, and I'm also getting the feeling like everybody can learn it. The next card I got is True Love. From this card, I'm feeling as if that a lot of what motivated him was love. And I seen that in his reading, like experiences with love and loss is what pushed him, what motivated him to be the rebel that he was, to think outside the box, to want other things. That's what was pushing him. And he learned how to control his ego So he learned how to love in like the purest form. I'm also getting a feeling like with this home card is that he is saying that things are changing and they are changing for the better. And people have to believe that. They have to believe that in order to fully manifest it. Like as a collective, we have to believe that because Earth is our home. And I'm gonna read this card. Your household situation is improving, either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. That is saying that us, human race, all of humanity, we are the occupants, and we could change this planet, our home, through healthy change within us. And I'm like seeing him nodding like in agreement, like he feel like that is happening. So that was followed by the peace card. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. That ties it in. So down here, a lot of the cards that I pulled for Mary Magdalene, I pulled for Jesus as well. Um, what I'm feeling is that he want people to know that he is not perfect. He had to overcome a lot of his own demons, a lot of his own darkness to get to where he got to. Also, he was filled with so much compassion. Like, I felt like there were times that he would just cry as a tool to release. It was a form of healing. Like, it was almost like strategically crying to work a energy, to move a energy. Because he was so aware, it's like at one point everything that he did was for a higher purpose, even the most simple things. Because I'm feeling like he didn't really have to eat a whole lot. He enjoyed it. Um, he didn't really have to sleep. He didn't really have to, whatever he learned from those people, the type of meditation or um, the way they taught him how to focus his intentions, he was able to feel himself generate things, manipulate energy and stuff without having to um, like drink water or eat food and stuff like that. He didn't really have to. I felt like he got to a point that he didn't have to. Okay. I also got the card that beyond the mind, the heart beats. I feel like that is like what I'm always talking about. Um, the mind and the soul, two different entities, right? Sometimes we have to disconnect from this computer chip, this program computer chip and really get into our souls, our spirits, which is our heart. And we could do that through the vibration of love. I also got the card Inner Trust, self-explanatory. To me, that's telling me that the way that he manifesting is really believing that he could, trusting in himself. He just knew that he was gonna be okay. At one point of the process, he knew that he was gonna die young, but it was okay. The next card I got is Going Beyond Normal. This to me is him thinking outside of the box, not being afraid to. He did things that I don't feel like is in the Bible. It's not in there, but he did things so out of the ordinary, that it shocked people, but it made them feel liberated. His way of thinking, his way of seeing and perceiving the world, like people was afraid to do that because you could lose your life like we seen him do, but he was willing to do it anyways because he wanted people to see how freeing that it was. Mm, beautiful, 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 beautiful. That was a dope reading. I really enjoyed that a whole lot. A whole lot.